Ugh, God, I'm crying. Or well, but I'm 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 grounding myself back into reality. I'm feeling the cold air through my fuck ass windows that are closed, but it somehow still gets cold. It's like the windows are closed. I don't know, the insulation should be much better in here, but I guess it's convenient for the moment because it's stopping me from being a hothead. Yay! My head's throbbing and I'm hungry, so I gotta DoorDash myself something. But I guess on the topic of crying, I was crying about other stuff, heartbreak, stress, life, a whole bunch of things. And a lovely commenter, you know who you are, was leaving some sweet messages. Thank you for that. I just responded a second ago. But then I guess the topic surrounding it, like, I kind of thought to myself, funny how even at my most suicidal, I would not go back to live with my family. That's when you know shit was bad. But then I also remember that sometime last year, like over the summer, my mother was making comments from random like YouTube channels, just hate comments, and they were so surreal. And I could tell it was her. It was very funny. It's like a unique game of which person is sending me hate comments today. Drum roll, please. Da 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 da. Spin the wheel. Guess who it is? And I guess it was like there was my ugly ass, stupid ass, bitch ass, hoe ass, teeth crooked so much they're throwing up gang signs, busted ass, fucking nasty booty ex, who I'm not gonna say the name of after that long ass intro because we don't need to say his name. We already know his character. And then one girl who I'm back on good terms with. I think she stopped leaving me hate comments. Good for her. She's nice. A little mentally unstable, but nice. I wouldn't say friends though. Friends is a stretch because if she was a friend, I'd be talking to her right now. And then three, my mother. And like, let's just say, despite the similarities between nasty bitch ass ex and nasty ass mother, enough where Sigmund Freud was like, ugh. Like, funny enough, I mentioned it before. I had a dream. This actually, I don't want to share that dream. It's a bit too disturbing, actually. So I'm not gonna share it because every time I think about it, I'm just like, ugh. But it still is a testimony to how terrible of a person she was in general that I 100% do not and would not go back. Like, no matter how fucked up shit gets, and shit's been real fucked up lately, but I have still 100% been like, I will happily live and die without her presence around. I think that's why me and the last guy I was talking to, Mitchell, got along so well. Even in our recent phone call, he was sweet enough where, yeah, he listened to my trauma and, like, 95% of it he was chill with. He didn't understand the other 5% with the sibling rivalry stuff, but he's understood it enough, is what I'll say. But I'll say it like this. Yeah, he even said it again several times. He said someone should fucking murder your mother because she was that bad. He knows. He knows. He just, that's something I will always respect him for. He straight up is the type to just, he doesn't give a fuck. Like, I remember when he said it at the hotel we were at for the holidays. A lovely time. I am grateful that I got to spend time with him. Shame it had to end the way it has too, but I am grateful that we at least got to stay with each other that week. Because it was nice. I'm very grateful for it. But, the whole time he validated that I was fine for leaving my mother behind. Well, that's more of a stretch. More like she left me behind a long time ago. And I just simply stopped chasing after her and went the opposite direction. I wouldn't even say chasing. I just knew from a very young age that she was a disappointment. Some people, I don't, this is why I don't always get along with Christians. No offense. Shout out to Christians, you're cool, but whenever they say stuff about forgiveness, I'll put it like this. Funny enough, this summer I ran into this woman who I guess was close to my mom. And she was around the same time, actually, that my mom was leaving so many weird, non-stop weird comments on my YouTube channel. Just full of hate. Full of hate. And I remember this woman approached me and she was like, "Don't you think you should forgive your brother?" And I said, "Have you seen the comments my mother's been leaving?" And she said, "No, what has she been leaving?" And I told her, I said, "She's been leaving a lot of disturbing comments. Comments talking about, like, how she's happy I'm suffering and me dating white boys and this and that. She's been very strange. But either way, the woman kept going on like, "Oh, don't you think you should forgive your mother? Don't you? You know, a time has passed and there's two sides to every story. If you see this video, you stupid fucking cunt, shut the fuck up. Never in your life say that disgusting ass shit again. I would have liked you had you shut your fucking stupid ass up." See, because how do I put this? Forgiveness is not always necessary in situations of abuse. It's not. Because you want to know what's happened throughout my whole fucking life? I have been begged to forgive people, despite no matter how terrible they got to me. It's always forgive, forgive, forgive. Always forgive. But it's never just that. It doesn't stop at just forgive. No, no, they want more because they can't have enough. It can't just be, oh, can you forgive your mom for her abuse? It's, oh, you need to come over for Thanksgiving. You need to move back in with her. You need to apologize for hitting her back. Even though it wasn't self-defense and she was sitting on top of you. Like, no. Like in high school, I remember got over this kid being abusive as fuck to me for 3 fucking years. And still, I remember the teacher over and over trying to be like, you should forgive Zachary. I said, I have forgotten what he did and we don't have no contact. I'm perfectly happy. But she didn't mean forgive. What she actually meant is you should date Zachary again. You should get close to Zachary. Because he keeps complaining and whining and getting back and, like, regressing into his old shitty state of being. Because he's a fucking piece of shit. And I don't want to do my job as a special ed teacher to actually, like, nurture and take care of him. I just want to pawn him off on you. You should forgive him. And I remember she specifically was like, you should forgive him and talk to him and let him know that you apologize. Because, you know, I am helping you out with your grades. They are kind of in the balance, so you should do a favor for me. She was literally trying to passive aggressively threaten me if I didn't go back with that kid. And it's just, I don't know, it's so funny because the same people who talk about forgiveness never, ever, 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 ever give the same mercy. Nah. Like, ever. Funny enough, the reason Mitchell said that my mother deserves to fucking die was ironically because once when I was young, I was like 9, 10, I was definitely in elementary school around that age. There was this little baby boy named Caden. I think that was his name. And let's just say Caden possibly had a mental disability, but on top of that, he was a fucking infant. All he could do was crawl. He wasn't even a year old. He was just an infant. And she was neglectful in a daycare. She was taking care of bitches' babies at her fucking house in her living room and neglecting them. And she watched fucking Desperate Housewives and Days of Our Lives on loop with a little bit of that other stupid ass show she liked. Just soap opera. And I remember at some point, like, I guess the baby crawled from the living room to, like, the kitchen back door or wherever the fuck. And she didn't like that. And instead of taking responsibility as, you know, the caretaker or the owner, and how the baby, mind you, it can crawl. It can't open doors because it's a fucking infant. It can at worst crawl. It could barely even pick its own fucking head up. Like, really. Do you know how long you had to take for a little baby that can barely move its little arms and legs and body to crawl to a back door? This fat fucking whore picked up the baby and said, I told you not to go to the back door. And she starts smacking it full force. Like, imagine how you would fucking need to slap someone like Shaquille O'Neal. And imagine her doing that to the ass, legs, and spine of a fucking infant newborn baby. Over and over and over. And I remember the way that baby cried, and it fucking haunts me. That's not a woman who forgave. That's not a woman who could even feel. You're not human. You're not a fucking person, even. You deserve no respect. People talk about forgiveness. No. If you see me getting online and talking shit about that bitch, calling her all sorts of things but a child of God, where do you think I learned it from? And I say that jokingly before anyone gets in my comments. Shut the fuck up. She's a bitch. She is one of the first people I've known to teach me hate, and I fought very hard to be unlike her. And the world's been a very, very cruel place to me. I try not to be cruel to it back, but good lord, you get tired of being the good one. You get tired of being the sweet child who has to overlook every single terrible thing their parent did. Because it's like, sure, we could use the excuse of, oh, your mom was just 18 when she first got pregnant. She's been through a lot. Cool. Guess what? There's no reason you would ever need to do that to a fucking newborn. I remember Mitchell actually sat there crying, hearing about the shit I went to, and he just straight up, he felt bad saying it, but he saw that it made me happy when he said it afterwards, but he 100% meant it. He was like, someone should fucking murder your mother. I would fucking kill your mother. And that made me happy, because for the first time in ages, it was not someone saying, you need to forgive her. You need to forgive this weird ass, damn near pedophilic, strange ass, demented psycho horror cunt. It was someone who saw her for what she is. Because your own child would not feel the need to estrange you for 3 fucking years if you were a good person. Ah, your own child left because you were that bad. I will say this, the lady who was a friend of my mom, she did see me in public, and she was shocked. She was like, oh wow, yeah, you look really good. Like, yeah. It's like, that's how I look when I'm eating consistently. That's how I look when I'm taking care of myself and I have money in my account. You know, that's how it looks when my finances aren't controlled by anyone else and I don't have to do bad things for money or food. That's how I look when I'm able to express my natural fashion and be who I am. And I was healthy and happy and good. And I still am, all things considered. Because even my worst moments here, like, how do I put this? Even at my worst moments of struggling here, guess what? I can still take a shower and use the bathroom without stress. I don't have to worry about weirdos putting their ear to the door trying to listen in on me, trying to hear if I'm crying or not, or judge me for suffering and for not suffering openly enough or loud enough or quietly enough for her taste. I don't have to worry about being attacked. I don't have to worry about being at the blunt end of someone else's emotional tantrums. I don't have to worry about anything. I can order DoorDash and grab it without a single person stressing me out aside from maybe a homeless dude outside who's seeing if he could grab it before I do. But you know what? I don't even blame Buddy for that. Meanwhile, for her, I remember it's like, bitch, you have me in a food scarcity. And you dare to have to judge me because I'm ordering fucking DoorDash during a pandemic so I can get myself a burrito bowl. Like, whether I had a job or didn't have a job, she would still, like, it was like she made a huge deal out of it, like, full on seething. Like, full on, if I ordered DoorDash, she would, like, make a big show out of stomping around and trying to stare me down and make me uncomfortable and acting like I was such a cunt. Like, I don't know what you want from me, lady. What a strange woman. I still don't understand that to this day, but it's okay. I'm happy to be estranged. I'm happy that she's not around. I actually have almost entirely forgotten about her existence. If anything, this Christmas season was actually pretty great. Not just because I met with Mitchell and got to have my ass eaten by some handsome, handsome white boy treating me well. That was wonderful. Ouch. Trust me. But aside from that, this was the year I actually forgot I had a family. Like, fully. Like, they stopped coming up in conversation to the point where it's like the holidays came around and I forgot that was something people even do with their family. Like, I got mildly sad on Thanksgiving, but there wasn't any sort of fear of, like, there wasn't any real FOMO. There wasn't any real sadness past, like, I remember I did get depressed that day, yeah, but it was still like, objectively, this is a great day. Because I still got to just be at home and relax and vibe by myself, you know? I'm just saying, like, it wasn't that bad. And this holiday season, it was more so like I was more sad about, like, damn, I'm not gonna hang out with anybody. I don't want Christmas to not be special. But I wasn't so much tripping off of, like, because I forgot about my family at that point. If people ask if I have any siblings, like, I forget how I even respond. Usually I just say that I do, but I'm very upfront about we aren't around each other. Like, yeah, because I don't even see them as siblings. Aside from the youngest, of course. It's hard to really explain the whole estrangement thing. It's like a surreal thing. I'll put it this way. I just kind of see myself as a single being as it was meant to be. I don't worry about, like, what will my parents think, what will my siblings think, because they are way detached and they could be up to anything at this point. I don't really fucking care. And that's the beauty of it. Some may say it's sad. Some might say I should, forgive and forget, but it's like, no. No, I was blessed with a very strong memory to the point where even when I reflect on moments, it hits me like a truck all over again just how bad it was. It takes a lot for me to repress and forget. And hell, sometimes I have even forgiven, but it doesn't change the fact that that will never be enough because those people will not forgive you for not forgiving them on their own terms at all. I remember my mother would punish me for any perceived sign of sadness or anger, even if there were none. Why? Because she never wanted me to ever be upset in the first place. But she would do things to make me upset. She was a weird, nightmarish woman. I'll put it this way. I would probably rather cut into my wrist 123 times than to even send her a text because she is that vile to me. I would rather risk obscene amounts of blood loss and scarring on my arms. I would rather possibly take a risk of jumping into a train track, like fucking 20 seconds before the train's about to fully enter the station and then jumping back on the platform, before I would dare ever say anything positive about her. To her, especially. Like, I'll take my chances with the train. Forgiveness is not something that people need. No, it's never something they need. I remember my grandmother told me that forgiveness is mandatory or else I will go to hell. I was already in hell with the person you want me to forgive. And funny enough, if enough time had passed and they had stopped stressing me out about it, then maybe, like, I probably would have not moved back in with my mother. Definitely not. Definitely not. But I could have just moved on peacefully. Very peacefully. I'd probably still be in touch with my dad's side of the family had my grandmother shut the fuck up. But no, she wanted to make every day at her place a hell too, and add to the hell by constantly saying, if you don't forgive your mother and apologize to her and move back in with her, then you're going to hell. I don't believe in hell. And even if hell's fucking real, then no offense, I kind of welcome it at this point. Huh. Because, yeah, these people don't forgive. They don't. They just want to use it as a guilt tactic to those with good souls because they think it'll work. You're not a bad person if you don't forgive. I know it depends on a case by case situation, but if you know in your heart, you don't have to forgive. You don't have to forgive sexual assault. You don't have to forgive physical abuse. You don't have to forgive neglect or emotional issues or anything like that because you don't. The thing about Mitchell is he can't forgive his family, but he also doesn't want to forget them. Which I find sad because he's older. But, he even told me himself that I was so strong for estranging my family because it's the hardest thing someone can fucking do. Because, mind you, he's almost 30. And he has no reason to be in touch with them. They don't pay his bills. He doesn't see them for the holidays. There's basically nothing there. But he wants them around for some reason. Well, not, no, he doesn't even want them around, but he's just, he told me himself that, like most people, it's ingrained in them for generations upon generations, and it's like a psychological, natural selection thing where it's like if you don't have your family, you will die. And he said that I was so strong because, think about it, 30-year-old white man with financial stability and all this and that, you can go along and be totally fine with your life with no issue. And you can estrange your family, the only thing telling you not to is just for the fact that you're scared. I did against all odds, against homelessness odds and poverty odds, and the odds of everything terrible that could go my way. I still did. Statistically, I did, and I survived, and I'm happy. And I don't have to forgive those motherfuckers and let them back in my life. And frankly, he thinks it's good that I don't, and he thinks I shouldn't. So shout out to Mitchell for that. But yeah, don't feel bad for not forgiving. Sometimes people don't deserve it. Forgetting is another thing. Because don't worry, with time, forgetting works. Like, whenever I remember for almost a year or so, I had really bad flashbacks to things I did to my family or things my family did to me, things that I said around them that were cringe, things that they did to me that were fucked up, vice versa. And I just kind of told myself, hey, you're not around them anymore. You can forgive yourself for what you did because your reward to them is no longer being around. So the problem already is solved. And then as for the vice versa, hey, guess what? They hurt you, but it's okay because their punishment and is that, you know, you're not around. They got off and enjoyed hurting you, and so the reward that they got is that they got to hurt you really badly one last time before they never saw you again. So I hope they enjoyed it because boy, oh boy, they sure tried to fit in as much as they could in such a short but very long amount of time. So it's like if they still want more abuse to be given your way and selfishness, that sounds like a them problem, not a you problem. They had 20 years to get out all of their little hedonistic, psychopathic fantasies. They need to leave your ass alone. And so I'm estranged. Happily estranged of 3 years. Has it been the easiest time? Fuck no. But God, it's been light years easier without them. And that makes me happy. You never have to forgive them. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just forget them. And that usually hurt people the most. It hurt my special ed teachers, it hurt my classmates, it hurt my friends, so called friends. It hurt even people who were supposedly enemies. Just to know that it's like, cool, you meant something to me one day. You used to have an effect on me, good or bad, and now I'm indifferent. Or less than indifferent. I forgot you exist. Like that ex from high school, I remember specifically, like, well after graduation had went down, he was still messaging me for like a year or two, trying to like get my attention and like talk to me and like convince me to see him again, as if I was gonna walk into hell again. And I remember I had two boyfriends at the same time, consensually, and he was messaging me as I like hella often, spamming my phone as I was with them. And do you know how fucking funny it is to pick up your phone and be like, "Who's this number?" Oh, it's this guy, and then have your niggas both on two separate occasions in the same week be like, "Oh shit, he's messaging you that much? That's pathetic." Because I didn't forgive him. Because I knew damn well forgiving would have just given him room to do the same shit again. But I forgot him. And that hurt him enough, and that's all you need sometimes. And plenty of times that's happened with people. And that's happened to my mother, and she doesn't like it. But not my issue. Right, Teddy? Exactly. He feels me. Sometimes people are just the way they are. Not much to do about it. But the best thing you can do is whatever makes you happy. Don't let people guilt trip you, and if you just want to forget about them and not forgive, that's okay. Like, trust me, even about the Mitchell situation, ironically, it's like, okay, I liked him a lot. I did. I'm hoping that at some point he can just become a forgotten memory and not a painful one, just someone I forget. I understand why he does the things he does. I get it. He's like sad and scared. He's a man of routine, and I'm someone who's very different than what he's used to in a good way, and also in ways that are very different than the lifestyle he's accustomed to, and he doesn't know how to make room for me. But then on top of that, it's like he just didn't want to admit he had feelings for me recently. I could just sever the tie permanently. I could do something really fucked up because I can't forgive him, and to make sure he can't come back and hurt me the same way again, because this is now like twice that he's heartbroken me. But maybe if he's lucky, if I can't forgive him, I can just forget him. And instead, it'll just be like, man, forget you. I can't help you because you don't want to be helped. And you can eventually miss me someday, like all the rest fucking do, and I can just forget you. And that can be nice. And then who knows, maybe time will pass, we'll get back into each other's lives and be friends. But I highly doubt that. If anything, the idea sickens me. I'm just trying to find a level ground that doesn't hurt me and doesn't hurt others. We'll figure it out eventually. But sometimes all you can do is focus on what makes you happy and live by that code. Alright, peace out, bye.